There are some brands that cater to your preferred sound signature a bit more than any other brand. In the market right now, Tanchjim and Letshore are two of those brands which I can trust with my eyes closed. Why? Because they follow a chi-fi neutrality that I grew up with. To discuss chi-fi neutral, we need to discuss neutral first. So, for a really long time, people thought flat speakers on a room is neutral, but time changes and people learn to understand psychoacoustics a bit better by taste, by cumulative understanding. And if you ask me, flat speakers sound a bit bright to me. It's not that I don't like it, but I find it a bit bright. It's the same with Tanchjim and Letshore. I like them a lot too, but majority of their tuning are borderline bright. Elevated, yes. Piercing, no. But they do sound like they're aiming to be a bit forward in the treble, which coupled with not so big bass boost sounds a bit bright. Now my HRTF allows me to enjoy a bit bright IEMs, yet I enjoy extra bit of brightness because of my hate of low-end masking, which is very different than UK or US neutral, where neutral IEMs in those regions seems like they're approaching a negative tilt in the treble, making them quite a bit warm and neutral than chi-fi neutral. Why this discussion matters? Because fission is an example of chi-fi neutrality with unnecessary complications that I thought could be easily avoided. This premise will help me a lot to explain the tonality later, so look out for that. Now I received two parcels from Tanchjim, one is Fission and another one is Luna DAC. I will talk about Luna DAC in a bit later in my upcoming videos, but this is how the dongle is. It is very powerful. It is kinda the same neutral sounding that Chi-Fi aims for. It has a bit emphasis on the treble, but mostly it is flat. The details, the resolution, the imaging, all are quite good. I find the dynamics a bit lacking in the dongle, but now I don't think this Fission and Luna pair up quite good. Fission is almost bright neutral and then Luna is also the same. I like it more in the Mojo 2, which means anything that is flat enough is good. The only pairing Fission can take is bright sources. The included accessories are pretty good for the most part. There are three types of filters: bronze, titanium and steel. Titanium and steel almost look the same. The difference that titanium has a black tint and the skin oils are more visible on that. Bronze feels the most balance between these three, followed by the steel and then by the titanium. Steel sounds a bit brittle and uneven in the tonal response. I pick only these two. For bass and laid back treble, bronze. I might be confusing with the name in the steel or titanium. For aggressive and sparkly shiny treble, titanium is the choice. The package also includes two board tips, one is wide, one is narrow, which is one for treble murder and one for preserving it. I used Divinus Velvet though for my review, but the quality of tip are included with Fission is okay at best. The wide it comes with is okay too. The good thing that it comes with three terminations, 3.5, 4.4 and USB-C, which is coupled with the DSP, which you can use by the Tanchjim app. The included carry pouch is very low in quality. I don't know how they decided that this can be worse than a $16 IEM bag that comes with Zero Ultima. So if this is your first IEM or only IEM, be sure to invest in a cheap carry pouch. Now coming to the sound quality department, it is impossible to review all the combinations. For example, one combination took 2000 word article and it has 12 combinations before EQ. So not you have the time, nor I have the time to make a video for that. So I choose Fission plus copper nozzle default preset for this review, and I think it is the only combination that you should be using too. Titanium nozzle was breaking the treble balance a bit. Steel is not any different. It was a bit more unrefined too. The other three switches that it offers, pop, monitor and neutral, all three are sounded weird and sucked out. And to a point where the question is not about your preference because it differs very much from one person to another. But in the later section, I'll talk about how any lace bass could have harmed this tonality. Coming to my preferred combination, this is how it sounds. Fission is a neutral bright IM, but I think it quite tasteful is on one. It doesn't compromise on the bass. The bass might look like it is not much, and it is for the most part, but when tracks call for it, it provides enough thump. No, this won't be enjoyed by bass heads or coloration lovers. The bass is very well done on this set. It's a mid-bass focused IEM, so the warmth nature is present, but due to the subtle amplification of overall bass region, the lower mids are completely neutral sounding. There is no sense of bleed or masking anyhow. You can say the lower mids are a bit warm, but that's it. The sub-bass infusion is not something to complain about either. It's a neutral set. It won't give you gobs and gobs of bass. The ornamentations in the sub-bass, like texturing authority, is there. The only thing that I felt was weird is the stereo nature of the sub-bass. Like it doesn't sound like woofers reflecting in a room. It sounds like it is coming from two tiny speakers. The room filling nature wasn't present in the sub-bass. But I guess there are not many sub-bass listeners that will buy this IEM in the first place. So let the mid bass take the spotlight, isn't it? The mid bass in the Fission is very clean and well separated. There is no unnecessary boosting that hurts any frequency onwards. The mid bass follows almost a linear trend until the 300 Hz, which is not only gives a bass punch nature that includes some definition to the male vocals. Again, this is not a bass headset, so don't expect the bass to be super amplified. Rest assured, the presentation is quite good. The only drawback I can notice in the decay of the bass are a bit blurred. Well, blurred is not a good fit for this description, but I don't have any clue how to describe it. It feels like the mid bass hits and it vanishes whenever the note is 90% there. Anthology by Overdeck is a good example of this thing. The hits are clean, defined, but lingering effect of the bass gets dissolved faster than I like. Now coming to the mids, as I already said, mid-bass representation gave the vocals a nice sweet sense of neutrality, which added to the definition, which I can't call warm or lush. The best thing about the whole mid-range is the cleanliness of it. The textures, the details, the overall representation is so transparent for a $120 IEM. Now energy overall is neutral, yet there is a bit of scoop in 300 Hz to 1 kHz region. Why is this important? To give the sense of spaciousness. And oh my god, Fusion sounds so spacious. The sense of atmosphere in Fusion is not less than a $200 or $300 IM. About technicality, price is not linked to it anyhow, but it's good to see this kind of performance on a budget IEM. I thoroughly enjoyed the male vocals on this IEM. They sound quite neutral, a bit more defined than usual, and reference grade with loads of texture and a bit pushed in the depth. So for that out of head representation. Female vocals though are very angelic in Fusion. The main reason might be the upper treble extension, which catches the breathiness of the vocals in conjunction to the upper mids. The upper mids on Fusion is slightly boosted to give that sense of presence and resolution. Fusion is very detailed sounding IEM overall. I never felt the need of extra detail in this IEM for its price tag. Now for the most songs in my personal library, it can't out resolve this IEM, but few of my review reference tracks need a bit of details to call it a bit too detailed. And as it goes, the imaging was also incredibly high for the price. The separation distinction between instruments are sublime for the price. Female vocals and instruments that occupies the upper mid-range sounds very airy and articulated with incredible detail perception. The treble is a bit more amplified than I would have liked with this bass profile, although a simple tip change would have easily solved that, and I am too lazy to do that. But so here is my complaint. To my understanding, they wanted to give a wow factor to this IEM, so what they did is pretty obvious. Huge stage, neutral profile, low masking, and loads of details. To give the details, the 7 to 8 kHz region is amplified quite a bit, which caused a bit of problem in high volume. The cymbal hits came across a bit too sizzly. S and T sounds a bit peaky, which I think could have been avoided, sacrificing the detail and resolution. So you must control it anyhow by tips or EQ. I generally listen to very low to mid volume, so I don't get any problem, but I know most of you listen to very high volume. Please stop listening to very high volumes, save your ears. The rest of the treble extension was good enough for me, nothing to complain or praise about. Now coming to the fact that who should buy this IEM? If you are looking for an extremely detailed, technically capable IEM in a budget, this is your IEM. You want something that doesn't mask anything and showcases the flaws of your track detail? This is your IEM. You want anything that is great for gaming? This is your IEM. And you shouldn't buy this IEM if you are looking for a very colored sound. This doesn't sound colored at all. You want loads and loads of bass. It can give you a good amount of bass, but it's not enough. You want something that can blast into your ear holes and still not sound piercing. Now at the last, coming to a few comparison, let's compare it to its younger brother, the 4U. I think it's an upgrade to the 4U. Not just in terms of the accessories, but in terms of sound quality as well. The main thing that upgraded in Fission is the 4 to 6 kilohertz region recession that much preferred for upper treble, which makes the Fission a more organic. There is also a mode where 4U gives a bit warmer sound, so if you need more bass, go with 4U and that pop settings. Now comparing Dunu Kima 2, well, the graph is not accurate enough for this presentation. If you want a laid back listening, get the Kima 2, but it will fall back in resolution and details as well as imaging. I might pick Kima 2 over Fission for my Bollywood tracks. Whenever orchestra jazz comes up, Fission will be my pick anyhow. Now, for something that a bit over the budget for Fission DX1, it is different in tonality. It is sub-bass focused yet tamed in the treble, which makes it a fitting choice along with Fission. Although the resolution might not be as high as Fission, but the positioning of the stage is a lot better in the DX1. Coming to cadence, from Moondrop, I wouldn't get cadence over this. Fission smokes out cadence right out of the water. Now, it can be compared with something like Defiant, Supermix 4 or EW300. For example, Defiant is a very basic set and the Supermix 4 is just trash compared to it. EW300 is also a different take on tonality, not even near Fission in terms of technical performance. So at the end, this is a Tanchjim set with Tanchjim DNA, nothing to be excited about, nothing to be disappointed about. It's just how Tanchjim sounds, and it has my recommendation for the price being. Bye.